Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us here at the Hawks Nest for tonight's men's volleyball matchup between the Humber Hawks and the Mohawk Mountaineers. I am your co-commentator, Mark DeLuca, and alongside me is my good friend, Dane Nickel. It is country night. Yeehaw, giddy up. Dane, what do we have in store for tonight's game?
Well, if you're coming on out to the Hawks Nest, you're getting one of these cool hats. Tonight's game, you've got the third place Humber Hawks going up against, third place Mohawk Mountaineers going up against the sixth place Humber Hawks. Should be an interesting matchup. Humber starting to get back on the good side. They had a little bit of a rough patch there, lost a few games, but pretty much a lock for the playoffs at this point.
And a little bit of a different scenario than their female counterparts, and we can see on the standings, Humber currently sitting a little bit lower at the table, and Mohawk, as a matter of fact, are currently sitting third place. So we do have a very competitive match in store for us tonight. A couple of key points we like to point out. Humber is currently in sixth place in the OCAA AA Men's Volleyball West Division, and Mohawk in third, but Humber did lose their last game, all three sets, and they have won 9 games and lost 6 recently. So we do have a little bit of an improvement to make, but we do have to mention some key players to keep out for, that being Jordan Darlington, number 4, the outside hitter for the Humber Hawks, and number 16, Clayton Blanchette. As you can tell, they've already scored 110 points, Blanchette, this season, and Darlington 128 points this season. What can we expect from these two players in this upcoming match?
Well, Clayton Blanchette is a first-year player who's really let his play speak for himself on the court. He's going to be a player that if he sticks around long enough will become a leader with this team. He's going to be one of those guys that the rest of the team looks to for leadership, for support. Hey, Clayton, here's the situation we're in. You've been here many times. What can you tell us? That's the type of guy he can be. And that's the type of guy that Jordan Darlington is for this team right now. 128 points on the year. Lets his play speak for itself up at that line. He's a big, important player on this Hawks team.
And speaking about people who speak for themselves, we have to acknowledge the Humber Hawks coach. That's Coach Wilkins, and no, not Coach Wilkins from the female team, but head coach Wayne Wilkins, who are, as a matter of fact, that you brought up to me, brothers. He's been coaching for 20 years at Humber.
That's absolutely right. Wayne Wilkins been here for 20 years. He played for the Humber Hawks volleyball team in 1990, and this guy just lives, eats, breathes, sleeps volleyball. He's been about is every bit important to the Hawks sports organization in general as just about anybody.
And it looks like the blood, I guess, runs in the family, because if you didn't know any better, you confuse the two men as one whole, both brothers coaching both teams. But to change gears a little bit here and focus a little bit more on Mohawk, 2 players we got to keep an eye out for tonight, that being Eric Girard, the number 13 outside hitter, and Trevor McLaughlin, number 9, the outside hitter, both doing very, very well this season. Girard scoring 186 points this season so far, with McLaughlin scoring 150 points this season. What can we expect from these 2 Mountaineer players?
Well, 186 points from Girard. You can expect an offensive output from either one of those gentlemen. They're going to be scoring and probably doing a lot of it this evening.
Well, it looks like the game is about to start off very shortly in the first set. Do stay with us. We have a great game going on, and it seems that the boys have approached the court side, ready to begin this exciting match of volleyball.
Just saw head coach Wayne Wilkins walking along the Mountaineers bench, doing the handshake row. He's a gifted coach and every bit as much as a sportsman as you could hope for as well.
Mountaineers looking to start this game off by serving the ball into the Hawks zone. Whistle blows and game's begun. Here we go. Hawks have the ball. Great block from the Mountaineers. The libero of the Hawks setting that ball right back up. And ball out of bounds on that one. First point in the first set going to the Mountaineers.
It's a tight call from here. It looked like it went off of some fingertips. We'll take a look again at the replay.
And excuse me, I stand corrected. My mistake. They awarded the point to the Humber Hawks. Very, very close call. That ball seemed to have gone out, Dane.
In any case, it is the Hawks' ball.
And that one, definitely no questions on that play. Ball going out for the Hawks. Point going to the Mountaineers.
Simon Smith just playing that one a little too heavy, getting excited, looking to go up in this game by a point early on.
Mountaineers serve the ball back into the Hawks zone, but ball going out of bounds.
Smith's off the hook. Hawks Mohawks surrender a point themselves in the same fashion as he just did a moment ago.
Can't disagree with you on that one, Dane, and it looks like that this game is going to be a competitive one. And another out-of-bounds serve by the Hawks. So far, all the serves have been going out of bounds on the first couple of plays here in the first set.
Well, just a matter of getting adjusted. These teams feeling each other out right now. But if you're Wayne Wilkins or if you're Mountaineers coach Matthew Schnarr, you can't be happy. Neither of them can be happy.
Ball going back to the Mountaineers. Score line currently 3-2. Mountaineers over the Hawks. Ball in play. Hawks going for a spike, and great defensive block by the Mountaineers there. Really getting amped up very quickly.
Eric Girard, we were talking about him just moments ago in the pregame show, and a big block there.
We can see on the replay, fantastic positioning, him moving to the left very quickly. Blocked by the chest of the Mountaineers player, number 4, and it worked to his advantage. Great play, arguably an accidental play, but nonetheless worked for the best.
Well, Chris Spack is fired up. Look at that block.
Great block as we see on the replay. Number 4 of the Mountaineers using his full entire body to the best of his ability. You can see this Mountaineers team very, very well engaged with each other, very well focused, very amped up. Typical college boys, I guess.
11-5 on the season, looking to make it 12 today. They've essentially guaranteed a playoff berth for themselves as well. There's 3 games left in the season. That's including this match tonight.
Scoreline currently stands 5-2. Mountaineers over the Hawks in the first set. And going into this game, we knew that this was going to be a competitive match, like we said previously, Dane. The Mohawk Mountaineers currently sitting 3rd place in the OCAA Men's Volleyball West Division, and seems like the Hawks may have a challenge on their hands tonight. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. This is a team with quite a pedigree coming in behind them. 2 years ago, old OCAA gold medal winners. Last year, they won silver, and they'll look to stay on the podium again this year. And they're, by all accounts, early on in this one, poised to do the same thing.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is sports, and in the end, it all does come down to points. So we got an exciting game on our hands right now. Men's volleyball team here, Hawks holding that ball up. Number 4 of the Mountaineers keeping that ball on the play. Rally going right now between 2 teams. And ball just inside.
Stefan Vukmanovic using that great size of his, getting aerial on that one. And
slight deflection there by the Mountaineers player to keep that ball in.
Yeah, they did get a big piece of it, but just not enough.
Nice little drop there by the Hawks. And great serve by the big, tall number 17 of the Humber Hawks.
Good effort by Chris Dashford. It was a good save. It caught the top of the net. Otherwise, if it doesn't, that's an easy defensive play for the Mountaineers, but perfectly placed serve.
That being number 17, Stefan Vukmanovic, making his presence known very quickly in this game. Hawks going for the spike. Great defense by the Mountaineers to keep that ball in play. And ball out of bounds, point going to the Humber Hawks.
Well, unfortunately, the Chris Spack excellent dive there is negated by Andrew Doobie playing that ball too long and playing it out of bounds.
And we can see that replay. Solid defense and work by the libero of the Mountaineers, but just getting underneath that ball, sending the ball out of bounds. And again, another spike there out of bounds, accidentally hitting Coach Wilkins, but
Wayne Wilkins taking a bow, letting everybody know he's all right. Hit him in a sensitive looking area, to say the least.
And having a good chuckle about that, but everything seems to be all right. And a high serve there, out of bounds for the Humber Hawks. Ball going back to the Mohawk Mountaineers.
There was a hush around the gym indicative of what type of a play that was that hit Wilkins.
As you previously said, he was a former volleyball player for this organization, so he does have the tough bone in him, I guess.
If he didn't have a clipboard in his hands, I'd fully expect him to try and play that ball in himself.
And we see on the replay here a little bit of a rush play coming from the Mountaineers on that one. Nonetheless, still a lot of volleyball to be played. Scoreline 7-6, Hawks over the Mountaineers in the first set. And a rally going there a bit, but the Mountaineers do knock that ball out of bounds.
Great play by Cowell on the serve. Just caught the top of the net and really forced the Mountaineers to scramble defensively. And then it was an easy knockdown up at the net.
Hawks serve the ball back into play. Mountaineers ball. Fake play and a sensational spike by the number 9 of the Mountaineers.
Trevor McLaughlin putting all kinds of power behind that one, making sure that one touched court. Didn't even give the Hawks a chance to put a hand on it.
You can see the power that he just slammed that ball right in that open pocket. Humber Hawks really split on that play. Left a lot of court open for the Mountaineers to convert by.
And putting that one out of bounds, Cody Charlton. Tough break back from the serving line. He gets swapped back out for Chris Dashford, the libero.
Number 12 of the Humber Hawks, that being Hayden McIntyre from Douglas, Ontario, serving that ball to play. And a great spike coming from number 4 of the Hawks.
What an unbelievable setup, Mark. Clayton Blanchette with a massive dig here to keep this play alive. Pardon me, that was Cowell. Right to Simon from a knee.
And a
Simon
great
Smith
spike.
sets up Darlington.
Great spike coming from the veteran, Jordan Darlington. 4th year on the team, showing that veteran presence once again. But a great point made by the Mohawk Mountaineers. 10-8, Hawks over the Mountaineers.
Watch how far this one goes out of bounds. People up in the 12th row of the stands getting involved.
Ball served back into play. Hawks rallying up here. Great defensive block by the Mountaineers. Ball still defended well by the Hawks. Another defensive block by the Mountaineers. Mountaineers have the ball in their end. Fake play, spike by the Mountaineers. And ball just put out of bounds by the Hawks.
Well, that entire rally there by the Hawks, that was, pardon me, by the Mountaineers, was carried on the backs of Spack and Wagner. They had 2 big blocks up at the line, and then Wagner gets set up for a kill and made good on it.
Ball out of play there by the Mountaineers, but I think it's important to address number 4 of the Mohawk Mountaineers, Chris Spack. He's been really, really influential in this game right now, making his presence alive, really coaching along his team and showing what he's worth.
Well, he's certainly not the tallest guy up at the net, but definitely you wouldn't notice from the style that he plays.
3rd-year player too, great year to be on a varsity team. You're not a veteran yet, but you're not a rookie, so you are well established in the squad.
Yeah, you've been around for a while. You've not been through the thicket. Maybe a great place to be because there's no pressure in terms of having to be a leader. You can just play your game and focus.
11-10, Hawks over the Mountaineers right now, but a tie game real quickly, 11-11.
Big service ace there from Andrew Doobie.
Again, nice little serve there from the Mountaineers, just hitting the top of that mesh, dropping very nicely, once again hitting in that no man's end.
We'll be looking to make it 3 now.
And refs calling fingertips over by the Mountaineers, point going to the Hawks.
Doobie gets in there, steals his team a couple of points.
And we can see there just slightly.
Close call. Hard to tell from the angle we're at.
Tie game currently in the first set, 12-12 between Mohawk and Humber. And a great spike coming there from the Mountaineers, taking the lead, 13-12.
Gerard answering back with a big point there. Every point's going to matter in this one. It's going to be a pretty close race to the finish. Coming in for the Mountaineers is Ben Tonin.
Looks like, Dane, that the boys have come right out of the gate in this first set, really going hard at each other, testing each other's limits with a great amount of spikes, really driving hard to the bottom of the court. Boys ain't letting up, not trying to figure out the teams at all, just really going right to town. Looks like we're going to have a close encounter here.
Tonin comes out, and back in comes Chris Dashford.
Scoreline 14-13. Mountaineers over the Hawks currently.
Lots of conversation coming off the bench, letting them know that that ball was out.
Ball out of bounds on that one currently. And as we see here on the replay, just getting on top of that ball once again. Great block coming from the Mountaineers there. Solid spike from the Humber Hawks, but a sensational block coming from number 13 of the Mountaineers.
Although I think that is a Hawks point. Looked like Gerard's fingertips just got a little over that net. A good block, but all for naught, unfortunately, for that man.
And thank you for that correction, Dane. You're absolutely correct.
That is a massive, aggressive block by Darlington. Looked good, sounded even better. Hawks take a big point there.
Both Darlington and number 2, as a matter of fact, Zach Cowell getting involved in that play. So great defensive work by both players. And fingertips just over the mesh, very, very noticeable.
Hawks been caught a number of times doing that now. They have to be careful not to lose themselves too many points in this match.
And we see the Mountaineers player just getting his fingertips over the net, so the ball does go back to the Humber Hawks. 16-15 Hawks over the Mountaineers in the first set.
That one just slingshotted off the top of the net. I'm not even sure one of the Hawks touched it. Gerard's aggressive spike. Maybe it hit an arm. It's kind of hard to tell, but the net certainly sprang quite a bit.
The net did play into factor there, Dane. It was a bit of the net and the arm, so a combination of both, but nonetheless, point does go to the Humber Hawks. Whistle blown by the ref.
Hawks leading by 2.
Mountaineers, number 13, ready to serve the ball.
The Hawks take the next point, I'd fully expect.
And point converted for the Mohawk Mountaineers. 18-17, Hawks lead over the Mountaineers.
If the Hawks get a 3-point lead here at any point as this one winds down, fully expect to see the Mountaineers take a timeout.
Great serve by Eric Girard, like we said before, the one player to watch for by the Mountaineers.
What a save by Mason to keep this play going. That's too many touches. Cal couldn't get it over the net.
And we see head coach Matthew Shar there just coaching on his team currently a bit. Hawks still rallying there with the ball. Great save by the Mountaineers. Ball still in play. Solid spike coming there from number 8 of the Mountaineers. That being Andrew Dube, native of Uxbridge.
Dube, a big block and a big dig to keep that play alive. Spack sets it to him and perfect spike off the arms of Cowell and Darlington.
The second-year Mohawk student really making his presence felt. Ball in play now in the Mountaineers zone. Solid spike, but out of bounds just by the Mountaineers. Ball returning back to Humber. Tie game currently in the first set, 19-19.
Close game, really close at this point. That's a big point for the Hawks to give up right now.
You always got to be very careful when you're approaching those 20-point leads in the first set, second sets, and third sets. Really, really important when it comes down to those 20 points. Can't afford to make any mistakes like that we just saw.
Coming in for the Mohawk Mountaineers now, Stephen Falk, trying to put this one to bed with a big point here.
And a missed time play there by the Hawks, conceding a point to the Mountaineers. 21-19, the Mountaineers over the Humber Hawks. As a timeout is called and both teams make their way back to the benches.
Big couple of missed points there by the Hawks. Doobie, not one of the guys that we mentioned off the top of the show, but someone who definitely deserves mentioning. He's had himself a pretty good outing so far early on in this one.
Absolutely, and it looks like we're going to hear Coach Wilkins speak really quickly with his team.
Right? I'm letting him stay. He's gonna learn.
Well, you're gonna stand
You
up.
need it. So either do it or don't. But don't happen. Okay? Use. I need you right here. Got it? Let's go. Come on. All you got. Get it, boys. Look at me. Look at me. All of you. 7 rounds. Relax.
And we can hear Dane, Coach Wilkins, quite easily saying relax on that last play. Quite obvious that he's currently frustrated with the performance of his squad in the first set right now.
Well, frustrated, but also there's an era of understanding as well. He said to the guys, live and learn. Make your mistakes. If you're going to make your mistakes, make them now when it's early on and it's easier to battle back. Don't be making them in a fourth or a fifth set.
Pointing out to number 7, the libero, Michael Mason, saying, I need you here right now, really putting that leadership role in his court. He does currently stand as a 4th year, so one of the veteran players for this squad.
4th year from Scarborough, fairly local. He's an important player on this team.
Failed serve there from the Humber Hawks, that being number 12 of the Hawks, Hayden McIntyre.
Mohawk leads by 2, and 2 of Mohawk's last 3 points came off of serves that were put into the net by Humber.
Rookie player, as a matter of fact, McIntyre. Still lots to learn. And ball just served out of bounds there by the Hawks.
Too aggressive by Blanchette on that play.
Scoreline going 23-20, Mountaineers over the Hawks. Great spike coming there by the Humber Hawks. A bullet of a shot, as a matter of fact.
You can see Doobie adjusting his headband. He just about had his head taken off by that spike from Blanchette.
And
absolutely killed that ball.
No complaints there. You saw in the last play how he quickly moved his head to the side, and in fairness to him, I probably would have done the exact same thing.
We were talking about it earlier during warm-ups. Those balls come in with speed.
And great spike there from the Mohawk Mountaineers. 24-21 Mountaineers over the Hawks, and we see a quick substitution with number 4 coming out for the Mountaineers. That being Chris Stack, who's been very energetic all game.
Charlie Hancock coming in for what may very well be the last point of this set.
Ball still in play by the Mountaineers. Great defense, serving that ball back into play. Number 7, Magin of the Hawks, keeping that ball in play. Still going. Great defensive dive there by the Mountaineers. Ball still on a great rally here. Blocked by the Mountaineers. And ball in play there.
So they said it was out of bounds. So the Hawks still alive.
I stand corrected. They called the ball out of bounds. So to your point, Dane, Hawks are still alive in this first set. 24-22, Mountaineers over the Hawks currently. Serve by there, set up, and a great block there by the Hawks, but to no avail. Fantastic strike from the Mohawk Mountaineers. And we have a great first set here, and we will return shortly into the second with you all. See you soon.
At Humber, we are career-focused. We provide practical learning in and out of the classroom. We are chefs. We are programmers. We are community builders. We are technicians. We are entrepreneurs. We are Humber.
And welcome back to the Hawks Nest here at Humber College, located in Etobicoke, Ontario. Tonight we have the Humber Hawks men's volleyball team currently trailing the Mohawk Mountaineers in the first set. 25-22, the Mountaineers took that first set. Dane, what can we say about the performance of the Hawks after that first set?
Well, it's better than they looked when I was here a couple of weeks ago when they were playing St. Clair. They really came out in the first set looking a little flat, not necessarily the best game they've ever played. But today, they came out in a much more promising looking way. That set was very close right till the end. A couple of serves that really didn't go the Hawks' way that they would have liked to have gone the other way. They lost themselves 2 points. Otherwise, that's a very close last couple of points heading toward the end of that set. Now, they can't have those kinds of mistakes in this one. If they go down by 2, then things start to look dangerous for the Hawks.
And we said previously that tonight was going to be a very, very competitive match for the Hawks. Mohawk Mountaineers currently sitting 3rd place in the OCAA West Division of the men's volleyball. And in the 2013-14 season, the Mohawk Mountaineers were the OCAA gold medal champions. So nothing to take away from them there. They still have a very well-established volleyball club currently. Game resumes in the second set with the Humber Hawks getting the first point on the scoreboard.
If you look at, back to what you were mentioning a moment ago, you look at a lot of those people on the roster now that are in their 3rd year that would have been members of that gold medal winning team 2 years ago. You know, this is a team that it's been pretty well rounded. They've played and won together, and now they're continuing to play together. Not very many first years on that roster. You look at the Humber Hawks roster, virtually the opposite. Very few guys with 3 and 4 years experience.
And it's interesting to point that out, Dan, because you obviously have seen it in professional sports many, many times when you get those teams with those veteran players and there isn't that a strong established group of rookies, you know eventually that when those guys go, it's going to be a whole rebuilding process. So interesting to see where the Mohawk Mountaineers are going to be in the next couple of seasons. And just as equally, the Humber Hawks, as they do have a couple of veterans themselves, but a little bit more established in the youth pool.
Absolutely. Big recruits coming in, like someone like Clayton Blanchette from St. Catharines. He's been a big addition to the team this year.
Play currently resumes in the second set with Humber just missing out on that one. And as we see on the replay here, going for that last shot, mistime play. But I stand corrected, Dane, as just looking back over the Humber Hawks roster, you're absolutely correct. Almost more than 50% of that squad are rookie players, first-year players. So a lot of building room to make with this Humber Hawks volleyball team.
Stefan Vukmanovic, a second-year player. Kingsley Osiako, a third-year player. And apart from Darlington and Mason, everyone else is first year. And they even lost one of their first-year recruits, Nathan Murdoch. He was a strong player it was a tough break for the Hawks.
Play resumes here with the ball in the Hawks end, going for a spike. And a great job there by the Humber Hawks, catching the Mohawk Mountaineers just off guard, banking off of the Mountaineer player's shoulder, and going out of bounds.
That was up high off the body of Chris Spock once again. Just way too high and coming in too fast for him to be able to handle that properly.
And you said it, Dane. I think the skill here or the game plan for the Hawks is to get really, really high and on top of those balls, because if you hit those balls hard, down hard, you're going to have at least bank off one of the players or you can deflect, and that's your best chance because you are dealing with a very, very competitive volleyball team right now. Missed time serve by the Hawks.
Picked up a service ace on the last serve. He was trying to do the same, just skimming off the top of the net. Couldn't get that play to go quite the way he wanted there.
Hawks send the ball back into the zone of the Mohawk Mountaineers, and a little bit of miscommunication there. Point going to the Humber Hawks.
What a great play by Cowell here. Look, he gets that player looking like Neo in the Matrix. That was Cody Charlton bending over backwards, trying to play that ball. Redirected the last second that front line certainly was not expecting.
And you can see the frustration on number 4 of the Mountaineers, that being Chris back after that play. A little bit too far, right out of bounds by the Mountaineers. Ball going back to the Hawks.
Trevor McLaughlin cranked that ball, but unfortunately put a little too much mustard on it, or a lot too much mustard. That one well out of bounds.
Scoreline currently stands as a tie, 5-5. Nice rally going on here by the Hawks. Ball sent out, but just out of bounds again. And like we said, Dane, we got to keep an eye. Both teams, as a matter of fact, have to keep an eye with those out-of-bounds serves. There's been a couple of them so far during this match.
Number of out-of-bound plays, and it's really going to cost these teams. They keep just willingly handing over points to the opposition.
And a great defensive play there by the Mohawk Mountaineers on Jordan Darlington, the veteran of the Humber Hawks. Fantastic setup by the Hawks there, but nothing they really could have done. Great defensive work by the Mountaineers.
Cody Charlton, he's listed at perhaps a conservative 6'6". Using that size at that net, gets a big block.
Conservative 6'6". That's one I've never heard before, conservative. Quite tall in my books.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's listed as 6'6", and I think that's putting it nicely. He looks much taller than that out there.
Agree, couldn't agree more. Play resumes, and ball out of bounds there by the Hawks.
Just before that, another ball coming over in our direction that just about winded up on the announcer's table.
And a great spike there by the Hawks.
Moment of suspense as the referees, there was some hesitation in giving the decision of whether that was in or not.
A little bit of confusion there. I didn't know if they were going to know each other's calls, but play resumes. Mountaineers spike the ball back into the Hawks' end. And the ref's calling a point for the Mountaineers.
McIntyre tried to get a piece of that, just couldn't do so. He was falling back to his seat trying to play it, just tried to go one way and ended up falling back the other. Lost his footing.
Mohawk Mountaineers lead this set 9-7 over the Humber Hawks. And a fantastic spike coming from Jordan Hamilton, the veteran of the Humber Hawks.
Jordan Darlington, he had 2 kills during that last set. Off to a good start in this one as well. He can hammer that ball right up near that net. See how he serves.
That's definite veteran presence coming in there by Darlington.
A great play by Spack. Just put his hand up in the air and let the ball roll off of it backwards down to the court. Sneaky play at the net, fooled the Hawks defense.
Number 8 of the Mountaineers, that being Andrew Dube, serving this ball, and to good use for a point for the Mountaineers.
Eric Gerard with a big point up at the net once again.
And a great serve coming there by Dube, getting it really far back in the end of the Hawks zone. Difficult one to defend on that. Setting the ball up here in play. Spike coming from the Hawks. Ball still in play. Great defense from the Mountaineers. And a sensational spike by the Mohawk Mountaineers. The Mountaineers have shown great skill this game, really getting high up on that ball. These boys do have some hop stain.
We saw them warming up, and just some of the vertical ability of some of the players is otherworldly. The bottom of their feet are getting up level with the bottom of the net. That's got to be at least like a 3-foot jump?
I'd argue almost 4. Ball in play, great defensive work there by the Mountaineers. And a great spike by the Hawks, but just out of bounds. You can see what they were trying to do there, really going for the far end of the court, but just outside.
Well, oftentimes Blanchette will play that really aggressive style game where he'll try to hit it to the opposite side of the court, up front of the net. But you walk a fine line, literally often walking the boundary of the court where too much goes out of bounds, too little, you serve up a nice, easy defensive block for the opposition.
And we see the difference in play here, how the girls were very, very good with their accuracy and the shots on those plays, really labeling the ball perfectly on line within the court. But most of the boys here on both teams have been really firing this ball out of bounds quite frequently, to be honest.
Yeah, the men's game is a much more power-based, really aggressive style of play. You see finesse moves like that right there from Blanchette.
Great little work there from Blanchette of the Hawks, and like many people have said in the past, you don't necessarily need power to win your matches. Right there, perfect example on the last replay, seeing how he just a nice little finger flip into the area and converting a point for the Hawks. 14-10, the Mohawk Mountaineers lead over the Humber Hawks, and a great spike there by the Humber Hawks.
Vukmanovic keeps Blanchette back at that server's line, but doing his best to prevent that was Dashford with an amazing dig. Unfortunately, the Mountaineers lose the point there.
Major gap left there by the Mohawk Mountaineers. Quite surprising, honestly. They've been very tight all game, but there was a huge gap and an opening for the Humber Hawks.
Blanchette trying to pick that back line. Just a little too far ahead.
Both coaches during this game have been very vocal with their codes and their coaching to both teammates, or both players. We just saw head coach of the Mohawk Mountaineers, Matthew Shar, doing a couple of, I guess, pre-planned plays there with his team.
And
Coach
they've been vocal, and so far neither of them vocal with the officials.
Very clean game up until this point.
One of Cowell or Darlington made contact with the net there, and that point is going to the Mountaineers.
And we see there, right there on that last replay, the Hawks just getting in contact with the mesh on that. Mountaineers leading right now, the second set 16-12. Nice little finesse flick there by Jordan Darlington of the Humber Hawks.
Darlington, last second, that ball kind of changed direction on him, and it was a nice inside push from the chest outward. And it handcuffed the Mountaineers, forced them to play that ball too heavy.
Great spike there from the Hawks. Once again into the Mountaineers' end.
Again, that's a tight call. It looked from here like it was in, but that's right in front of that line judge, and he's certainly got a better angle and look at it than we do.
Very competitive match on our hands here at the Hawk Nest in Humber College. Scoreline in the second set is currently 17-14 for the Mohawk Mountaineers over the Humber Hawks.
Hawks down by 3, but battling back in this one, trying their very best to stay in it.
Mountaineers currently have the ball, ready to serve back into play. That being number 7, Stephen Falk. An out of bounds call made by the referees over the Hawks.
Simon Smith played that, but it was outside of the antenna as it went over the net.
18-14, Mountaineers over the Hawks in the second set. Ball served back into play. Trick play there by the Hawks, and great spike. And to the Hawks' approval.
McIntyre heavy off the hands of McLaughlin and out of bounds. Not a chance for anybody to run after that. You can see Doobie tried to, but almost ended up face first into the first row.
Very difficult shot to save there. Ball out of bounds on that one. Hawks ball.
Great play by Wagner. Fooled them. Looked like he was going for the spike with the right hand. Last second, he gets the left hand out and just pushes that ball ahead. Fortunately, he put it out of bounds. Otherwise, would have been a beautiful play.
And a great spike there by the Mohawk Mountaineers. Very, very difficult shot to save by number 7, the libero, Michael Meschin of the Humber Hawks.
And again, that ends up the 5th row in the crowd. People ducking out of the way of that one.
Rally going here by the Hawks. Ball out of play by the Hawks. Point going to the Mohawk Mountaineers.
Blanchette trying to pick that back corner.
And a timeout made by Coach Wilkins. Great turnout tonight, as a matter of fact, Dane, on this cold February night. We have the Humber Hawks cheerleading squad here supporting our teams, plus all the parents and fans and friends for coming out. So thank you for them and showing their support towards their Humber Hawks.
Well, it's sure to get packed in here in a few weeks' time in March when we start to get into the OCAA basketball championships that Humber's hosting this year. This gym is going to be pumping. Fans coming from all over the province to watch the championships. It's sure to be exciting.
It is very exciting, Dan. As a matter of fact, I had the great privilege of seeing the Humber Hawks soccer team play back in the first semester during the fall months. and they were hosting the OCAA championship. And what an experience! What a great atmosphere. Teams from all across Ontario coming to compete, and evidently the Hawks winning that tournament. So nice of them to see them get crowned OCAA champions.
Well, and you can fully expect the men's basketball team to make a pretty good stake at that title and the basketball side of things themselves, and certainly the women's basketball team, that team rolling this year as well.
And do we really need to state the obvious as well? The women's volleyball team going now 104 straight wins. Incredible. Still can't get that number out of my head. 104.
I was talking to Chris Wilkins during the break in between the women's game and this one, and he even said he didn't think that the women's team played that well. He thought they played a little lazy, and they have to work hard in practice upcoming this week.
And that just shows you the tenacity and the dedication towards these volleyball clubs. Play resumes as the Hawks send that ball out of bounds, with the Mohawk Mountaineers ready to serve the ball back into play. Scoreline stands 21-16 Mountaineers over the Hawks. And a great spike there by Jordan Darlington, but just shy of the net. And we do have a substitution being made here by the Humber Hawks. That's number 15, Kingsley Boziaco, going in for number 12. That being
McIntyre. That's
correct. Hayden McIntyre, the native of Douglas, Ontario. First year, as a matter of fact, as well.
That one goes out. Now you just mentioned OCAA soccer championships here not that long ago. Kingsley Boziaco, also a member of the Humber Hawks varsity soccer team.
Good point to make out, Dan. You're absolutely correct. He did play for the Humber Hawks varsity men's team as a center back, so absolutely incredible. You know, there's a privilege and a joy in playing for a varsity team at any college, but the fact that you're able to play on two different sports altogether, that's how you just know you're a talented player all around.
Well, it's not often you see multi-sport athletes. I think if you're gonna see it now, certainly not at the professional level, you're more than likely to see it at the college level, and those individuals really have to recognize as skilled athletes. You think about the amount of practices they have. Guys who are playing on two teams, practicing for both at the same time, studying for exams, doing well in classes. They might have girlfriends, they might have a job outside of school. They've got all kinds of things on their plate, and they still stay on top of it.
It's incredible. It really is a skill. Boziaco, speaking of Boziaco, going for that play there, just shy. Ball going out of play.
They almost have superhuman time management skills. I don't know how they do it some of the time.
It's incredible. It really is incredible. Mountaineers serving that ball back into play, but just out of bounds. Getting underneath that ball. Scoreline stands 23-19 Mountaineers over the Hawks.
Similar looking score to the same point in time in the last set.
Mountaineers keeping that ball in play, and a great spike coming there from number 13 of the Mountaineers. That being Eric Gerard, like we said, need to keep an eye out for him, and he's been sensational this entire game.
He really has been a force, and Wayne Wilkins calling his timeout.
That's been roughly the third or fourth timeout called this game so far, Dane.
Only the first one of this set, surprisingly. Or pardon me, the second one of this set. Mohawk hasn't used any of their timeouts yet. They've been pretty confident with the way that they've been playing.
Give credit where credit is due. The Mountaineers have been very consistent in their style of play. I don't see any need to call a timeout at this moment.
And when they've been behind, they've been composed. At no point do they ever go into panic mode. They just are very sure of where they are and what it is that their club can do.
Both teams keeping a very, very smart and composed way. And we're going to listen in real quickly to the Mohawk Mountaineers coach, Matthew Shire. Not a lot coming from Coach Schnarr of the Mountaineers there, Dane. Just kind of telling his team to continue playing what they've been doing all game.
Gotta keep doing what we're doing. Get the ball to the net, set up an attack. Don't overcomplicate it. Set up the attack. Maybe odd little trick play here and there, but don't get too fancy. Just keep playing the way that they're playing, and things will go well for the Mountaineers if they continue to do so.
Mountaineers have been playing a very defensive style of game, and as the saying goes, defense does win you championships. So it brings you the points. May not be the most exciting style of play all times, but it does give you the end results. And in sport, that is what counts the most. Great defensive block there by the Mountaineers. Ball still in play. Ball in the Mountaineers' end. Mohawk going for the spike, and a missed time play there by number 5, Simon Smith of the Humber Hawks. Difficult play nonetheless.
That's the set winning point. He catches an antenna and just handcuffs Simon. He couldn't do anything with it.
And we will see you in the 3rd set.
You've got your degree. Now take your education to the next level. At Humber College, our career-focused programs incorporate hands-on practical experience both in and out of the classroom, allowing you to get the experience employers are looking for.
And thank you for joining us here tonight, once again at the Hawks Nest at Humber College. Tonight, the Humber Hawks men's volleyball team takes on the Mohawk Mountaineers, and they, not the result that we're necessarily looking for, trailing currently 2 sets, losing that last set, a close one, to the Mountaineers, 25-20.
And there's currently on your screens at home, Nathan Murdoch, former player who we mentioned that the Hawks lost earlier this season due to ineligibility, I believe it was.
We don't have the full details on that matter, but nonetheless, he is here supporting his Hawks volleyball team, and great to see that he is out here supporting his former club. But there is still another game and another set of volleyball to be played, potentially 2 more. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But an exciting game nonetheless. What can we expect from the boys in blue and white and orange and black this upcoming set, Dane?
Well, Humber, you know, hard fought couple sets, lost by a couple of points, and it was some minor costly mistakes that really lost them both sets, and they'll have to shore up their play, tighten it up a little bit, take away the unnecessary touch, and hopefully steal a set here from the Mohawk Mountaineers.
Mountaineers begin this 3rd set, sending that ball into the Hawks zone. And a great defensive work there by the Mountaineers. Ball still in play. And a great defensive block there by the veteran, Jordan Darlington, sending that ball out of bounds in the Mountaineers zone.
That ball came in hot. Just walked the top of the line along the top of the net.
And Kate Blanchette really pulling up there on that last play.
And just a missed dig there by Chris Dashford.
Scoreline currently stands 1-1. And a phenomenal spike there by number 4 of the Mohawk Mountaineers. That being Chris Spack, really showing an intense emotion there on that last spike. You can see here on the replay.
Well, he's the guy who plays with a lot of emotion.
And that's what these teams need, Dane. A lot of testosterone flying around. And a bit of miscommunication there by Blanchette and number 7 matched in the libero. And you can see Coach Wilkins there really frustrated with that last play.
One of those plays where that's an easy ball to play and a bad mistake, giving the Mountaineers yet another point. Blanchette makes good on it there, though. If you're gonna give a point up, you earn yourself one right back, and that's exactly what he did there.
Amen, brother.
Hawks draw back within 1 point.
Darlington attempting to serve that ball over, but just short of the net.
Now the man who gets fired up is back at the line.
Serving that ball into the Hawks end. Going for the spike there. Missed time defensive play, but Spack there to pick it up for his team. And a nice spike by the Mountaineers. Ref calling that play out of bounds.
Blanchette, a great play running after that to keep it alive. Unfortunately, he just played it on the wrong side of the antenna. Difficult to see from that angle, and it was high up in the air, but pretty clear from our vantage point here at the Hawks Nest.
Solid defense by the Mountaineers, setting that ball up, going for the spike. Another defensive play there by the Hawks, but really going and picking that one up, that being the one and only number 13, Eric Gerard of the Mountaineers. And we said right from the beginning of the game, Dane, that you got to watch out for him, and he has just been executing those open opportunities for the Mountaineers.
And Gerard, he's got to be getting close to a total of 200 points now. Came into this game with 186. Not exactly sure what the total point count is for him.
Scoreline currently stands 6-2 Mountaineers over the Hawks in the 3rd set and potentially final set of this game. And as we hear Coach Wilkins coaching on his team currently at the moment.
Put that ball outside and we're good. Okay? Hey, we're good? Let's go. Come on. Good. Keep working hard. Let's go. Come on, keep working hard. And 2, 3.
So, a quick update for you, Mark. Eric Gerard almost certainly has reached the 200-point mark on the season. He had 13 from the first 2 sets coming into this one, and he's got at least 1 point in this set. So he's got at least 200 on the season now.
And we've been talking a lot about Eric Gerard lately, but we got to keep an eye also on the second-year Mohawk Mountaineer, Andrew Duke. He has been sensational in this game, really showing his talent, so he might be the next Gerard, who knows?
Well, with a name like that, you tend to be a bloody big deal, Mark.
Liking the reference, Although I believe that was Defoe, not Gerard, but that's
Close
for another
enough.
conversation entirely. Back to the volleyball game. We got the rally going on here in the Hawk zone. Mountaineers spiking that ball out of bounds. And you can see number 9 of the Mountaineers, that being Trevor McLaughlin, understanding why that went out. He even said it right after, and you can see on the replay, he knew it right from the get-go, telling that the ball was just over his hand, spiking it a little bit on top rather than on the center, the sweet spot of the ball. And ball out of play there by Blanchette. Point going to the Mohawk Mountaineers.
That one out of bounds. Legitimately out of bounds. We're not just trying to shoehorn in soccer references at this point.
Nice little rally there by the Hawks, and to their benefit, great spike coming there from the Humber Hawks. Nice little fake play there by Vukmanovic.
That was also placed perfectly between Gerard and McLaughlin.
And Vukmanovic serving that ball back in the play, ball back in the Hawks' end. Darlington going for the spike there, but just underneath and sending that ball out of bounds.
Earlier during that play, Gerard misplayed the ball. He was bailed out by Dashford, the libero. Got some help from Spack up by the net as well. And then Darlington just put too much heat behind that one. It goes out of bounds.
Hawks currently have the ball. Mountaineers there on a nice little finger flick there by number 4. That being Chris Spack of the Mohawk Mountaineers. Very, very well trained, practice, and tactical play.
Eric Gerard was a big fan of that play with the cheekiest smile on his face.
Hawks still have the ball, and a solid defensive work there by 18. Literally scooping that ball just under his fingertips and basically just pushing it right down. Look at the height on this play, Dane. We can see it right here.
Well, Paul Wagner on that play looked like someone who was just draining a basket. Looked like he was putting down a dunk there at the net. Great looking play.
Another serve coming there from the Mountaineers. And a solid spike there by the Hawks. And who else? Jordan Darlington doing that one.
Wagner disappointed with himself, just looking at his hands in disbelief. He knew a big point got away from him there.
11-6, Mountaineers over the Hawks in the third set. Point awarded to the Mountaineers, now 12-6.
Mohawk pulling away early in this one.
6-point lead. The Mohawk Mountaineers currently over the Humber Hawks. A little bit of an uphill battle right now.
Don't count the Hawks out quite yet.
Still a lot of volleyball to be played. Ball still in play in the Mountaineers' end. Going for the fake spike there, and a great spike coming from who else? Number 13, Eric Gerard.
Mason diving after that one. Ball almost gets stuck underneath him here. Oziaco played that one off the net. 4 touches on the Hawks. Oziaco doesn't like the call. Not much he can do about it at this point. Point goes to the Hawks and to the Mohawks, I should say.
And another point given to the Mohawk Mountaineers.
Surprisingly, we've not seen any of Stefan Vukmanovic in this set.
Mountaineers ready to serve that ball back. That being number 8 of the Mountaineers, Andrew Dube. Has been really, really pivotal in this game, but not on that last play as the ball just sails slightly out of bounds. Point awarded to the Hawks. Scoreline 15-17, Mohawk Mountaineers over the Humber Hawks.
Mountaineers doubled up and then some over the Hawks.
And point going to the Mountaineers there, 16-17, like you said, Dane. Scoreline getting just a bit away here during this third set now.
I doubt Mohawk's calling a timeout anytime soon. They're in full control of this one.
Ball still in play. Great defense there by the Mountaineers. Serving that ball up. And a call made by the referees.
It's a nice defensive
Double
play
foul.
at the line by one of the Hawks.
A great play. Great play there by both teams again. And we can see that the scoreline now, Dane, is really getting away here from the Hawks. Could it be a little bit? And a great spike interrupting me in mid-sentence from the Hawks. Sensational work. 17-19 currently. The Mountaineers over the Hawks. But like we said, Dane, this team is a fairly young team. More than 50% of the players being first-year players. So lots to work on. Could ultimately affect their performance during this game. Don't you agree? A little bit maybe of inexperience kicking into play.
Maybe a little bit. They tried their best to stick in this one as long as they could. It really looks like this one's starting to get away from them now. But as inexperienced as they may be, you wonder where this team will be in a year to 2 years from now when this core group of players has really had a chance to play and mature together.
And to your point, Dane, absolutely. We know the quality of the coaching and volleyball staff here at Humber College. So who knows what this team's going to be like in 2-3 seasons' time. Ball just put out of bounds there by the Humber Hawks. Scoreline now 19-9. Mohawk Mountaineers over the Humber Hawks. And let's not discount the quality of the Mohawk Mountaineers. We knew this was going to be a competitive match right from the get-go. Currently sitting third place in the West Division, the Mountaineers, and being awarded an OCAA gold medal championship only a season ago, roughly speaking. So that core group of players are still here with Mohawk currently.
Vukmanovic misplaying that one and giving up a big point.
And a timeout has been made by both teams, taking a little bit of a breather. And like we said, Dane, I think at this point we just got to really get our heads wrapped around that the inevitable is coming, and we have Coach Wilkins coaching his team on this third set.
Score's irrelevant right now, okay? It's about us. We gotta leave the game, no matter how we play, feeling like we played better at the end, okay? That's all. It doesn't matter. Score's irrelevant. What I want us to do is try and create some momentum. We're just not doing basic things right. We're not serving top. We're not covering, right? We're all over the place defensively. We don't know positions. We're letting all this stuff go to our head. Relax. Just play ball. All right? Let's go. Just play ball. Come on. All right? Come on. We need everybody. Let's go. Ready? Go. 2, 3. Hawks.
And we heard there, Dane, Coach Wayne Wilkins instructing his players, don't worry about the score line now. And every good coach knows when to accept defeat and when to accept victory graciously. And I think it's safe to say that we do know the competitiveness of this Mohawk Mountaineers team, and they did show it tonight towards our hometown Humber Hawks.
Absolutely. Right now, you just got to focus on mechanics and playing your game and doing what you can right at this point.
And Coach Wilkins did say, just play your game. You want to come out playing and feeling that you did better. You did better. You challenge them, and that's all the Hawks can really ask for at this point. Substitution being made here by the Humber Hawks, number 16 coming out, that being Clayton Blanchett.
Coming in, Cody Burton.
Cody Burton, a rookie from London, Ontario, first-year student. Ball in play here by the Mountaineers. And a solid spike there from number 9 of the Mountaineers. Trevor McLaughlin, the other superstar, alongside Eric Girard.
Mason got pegged by ball coming in hot. Not much he could do about it. That one stunned him. Also making a substitution are the Mountaineers.
Very powerful spikes coming in from both teams, especially the Mountaineers. Very strong power hitting team, and we saw it fully exposed tonight.
Stephen Falk subbing in, and he's back at the serving line with the ball right now.
21-10 Mountaineers over the Hawks. And ball just in play. The referee saying it's inbounds. And you can see the excitement on Folk's face. There's smiles all over. Keeping that ball in play. Just dipping nicely. What skill. Rolling that ball and dipping it. So making it look so easy. Point going to the Hawks. Number 7, Folk coming out currently for the Mohawk Mountaineers. Mountaineers lead the Hawks 22-10 in this third set of play.
Justin Fliss, number 12, also in for the Mountaineers. That was another substitution which was made prior to Falk's first serve.
Serve by the Humber Hawks, and a solid spike by the Mountaineers. The Hawks going there for the block, but bouncing out of bounds, and point going to the Mountaineers. 23-11, Mountaineers over the Hawks.
That one very close to us. In
Close
fact,
call.
Andrew Doobie coming over and saving the monitor on the table from sheer destruction. You even had a hand up on the play there.
Of course.
Get ready to block.
Always got to be in the game, right? Always got to be in the game.
Ready for anything.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. Point going to the Mountaineers there, 23-12. Currently, the scoreline stands in this third set.
Now Fliss back to serve at the line. His teammates are all smiles. He's a first-year player. First-year player from Hamilton, so a local kid on the Hawks, or on the Mohawk Mountaineers.
And number 12 of the Humber Hawks being Hayden McIntyre serving that ball.
Let's go! Come back, Caesar, let's go!
Hawks delaying the inevitable at this point, really.
Can't really hide the fact from that now, Dane. And a solid spike there by number 13 of the Mohawk Mountaineers, Eric Gerard.
Out of bounds is the call.
Out of bounds, my goodness, my mistake. It looked like, I swear that looked like it was in. Ball still in play. And a great spike there by the Mountaineers. And there you have it. Final score, 25-15. The Mohawk Mountaineers defeating the Humber Hawks at Humber College. The away team taking a very important victory over this Hawks volleyball club. And Dane, what else is there to really say? We knew that this was going to be a competitive match right from the get-go.
Well, pretty much a mirror image of what the last game between these two looked like. The Mountaineers won that one 3-0 as well. Just many tough breaks for the Hawks, and too many mistakes cost them this one.
Well, the Mountaineers come on top here when the Humber Hawks female team came on top in the previous game. An exciting match nonetheless, but a very difficult one, with the Mountaineers currently sitting third in the West Division. And like we said, this team is coming off a gold medal 2013-14 season, so they do still have a good core of championship players on this Mountaineers team. And the Humber Hawks, let's be honest with ourselves, their team, we've said it numerous amount of times throughout the game, more than 50% of the players first-year students. So a lot of stuff to gain and a lot of stuff to learn. And I think it is safe to say it's a little bit of an experience that did play into factor during this matchup.
Yeah, I think you said it best just now when you said that they have a lot to learn, and certainly so. Many of these players, I'm sure, played high school volleyball, and at the OCAA level, it's just so much different, and there's a lot to learn about the way that the league works. I'm sure you're playing with a different level of power. Guys in high school may not have been able to hit the ball nearly as hard as a lot of the guys out on the court today can do.
And we do know the coaching staff and the reputation they do have here at Humber College. Coach Wilkins, both Wilkins coaches, the female and male team coach, have got to prep their team. So a lot of work to go into, but we're going to be speaking shortly with the libero of the Humber Hawks, veteran fourth year, Michael Mastian, to get his response and comments during this game. and waiting on that soon. But you know, it's going to be a difficult one. It's going to be a difficult one to rebound, and like you said, Dane, a lot of key coaching points to take away from it ultimately.
All right, and so we have Michael standing by with us.
Michael, hello.
Hi.
Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. Just a quick question. Obviously, a very difficult game for you guys. Going into this, how did you guys feel? You knew it was going to be a tough competition.
I don't know. It wasn't a surprise that this was a hard game for us. The surprise was probably the score in the third set and us not winning. It always comes as a surprise to me.
Well, Coach Wilkins, towards later in the game, said, you know, disregard the scoreline now. Just come out and hustle. Just come out and hustle. And it looks like you guys have a really good connection with your coach at the moment. How supportive has Coach Wilkins been towards you guys this entire season?
As supportive as anybody can get. He wants us to win almost as badly as we do, if not more. And he's been there every step of the way, whether he's screaming at us, laughing with us, or just trying to get us better.
Michael, you've got 2 games left in the season now. What's the plan for those 2 games moving forward and approaching the playoff picture?
Well, obviously, we would like to win those games. But barring that, we're just trying to get better and ready for playoffs because we're in it. Now we just have to execute, win, get better, and make it all the way.
Well, Michael, we wish you all the best in the rest of the season, and thank you for taking the time to speak with us.
Thank you.
And there you have it. Another phenomenal 2 games played here at Humber College with the women's and men's volleyball teams. The women's coming out on top during this matchup. The men's coming a little short on this one, but nonetheless, very, very exciting matches. We thank you once again for all our viewers and people helping us at BRTV and 96.9 Radio Humber. I'm Mark DeLuca.
And I'm Dane Nickel.
And we'll see you all next time here at Humber College and Humber Hawks Varsity Volleyball. Take care, everyone.